Hey, Coachella!
The Coachella 2026 produced a sequence of performances that worked because they moved in different directions while remaining structurally connected. Young Thug and Camila Cabello opened with Havana, using a familiar hit as the clearest entry point of the sequence. Addison Rae followed with Aquamarine, a performance defined more by image, mood, and presentation than by immediate recognition. Major Lazer then shifted the energy outward with Lean On, a track that still functions as a festival release point. Labrinth closed the sequence with Orchestra, moving into something larger, slower, and more cinematic. Together, the four sets offered different ways of holding a festival audience, with Havana providing the most direct opening point. Comment below on which of these performances stood out most to you. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Young Thug and Camila Cabello had the most immediate crowd connection of the four. Havana arrived with broad recognition. That changed the function of the live performance. The task is not to introduce the song, but to sharpen the audience's existing memory of it and reactivate it in a new setting. That is what this performance was doing. It relied on familiarity, rhythm, and the fact that the audience could enter the moment almost immediately. That matters at a festival. Some songs require context before they land. Others can activate a crowd within seconds because a single phrase or melodic turn is already enough. Havana belongs in the second category. That makes it especially useful in a sequence like this one, because it gives the video a clear entry point. The audience understands where it is from the beginning. The performance does not need to explain itself. It can begin from recognition and move outward. The collaboration also gives the performance its own shape. Young Thug and Camila Cabello create contrast within the set itself. One side brings vocal identity and pop recall, the other brings energy, tonal variation, and a sense of event. That pairing gives the performance structure beyond the song's familiarity. It is not simply a repetition of a hit, it is a live return to a track that already carries public memory. Placed at the front of the video, Havana works because it does not require a gradual adjustment from the viewer. It gives the sequence a direct and recognizable opening.
How you doing? You said there's a lot of girls I can do with.
Addison Rae's Aquamarine, Arcamarine did not rely on recognition in the same way. It relied more heavily on image, mood, and the visual logic of contemporary pop staging. That gives the set a different function within the sequence. Instead of opening from memory, it opens from presentation. The audience is being asked to follow tone, shape, and persona more than it is being asked to respond to an already established sing-along. That distinction gives the performance its value here. After a song like Havana, which is carried in part by audience familiarity, a more image-driven set changes the pace. It tightens the frame. It becomes more about surface, movement, and the way a performer occupies attention than about recognition inherited from the track itself. That can be a risk at a festival because audiences respond quickly when they feel distance. But when the performance is controlled enough, that distance becomes style rather than weakness. That is the role Addison Rae's set serves in this structure. It introduces a more self-aware, visually shaped kind of pop performance. It is less about immediate communal recall and more about curating a mood. That makes it a contrast piece. It changes the texture of the video and prevents the opening stretch from becoming an extension of the same energy. In a recap like this, those tonal changes are important. If each performance succeeds in exactly the same way, the sequence flattens out. Addison Rae's set avoids that by pushing the video toward image, atmosphere, and form. Major Lazer shifts the focus again, this time towards scale and movement. Lean On has long functioned as a festival anthem, and that history affects the way the performance lands. Unlike a newer track that still has to establish its place, Lean On arrives with proven public memory. It is built for bodily response. The beat structure is immediate, the phrasing is efficient, and the song's identity is already attached to shared listening rather than private interpretation. That makes it effective in a live setting. Where the second performance tightens the mood and asks the audience to watch with more distance, Major Lazer opens the space again. The emphasis moves outward. It becomes less about persona and more about release. That is one of the most important functions in a festival lineup. A performance like this resets the body. It reminds the audience that not every standout moment comes from intimacy, concept, or visual precision. Some come from momentum alone. That is what Lean On contributes here. It restores motion to the sequence. It returns the viewer to something collective, immediate, and physical. Because the song is already so structurally efficient, it does not require much explanation to work. It can move largely on recognition and rhythm. Placed after the more image-focused Addison Rae set, Major Lazer makes the contrast visible. One performance is about controlled surface and tone. The other is about shared release and crowd energy.
The wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. We need someone to lean on.
The final performance changes the sequence again. Labrinth's Orchestra moves away from immediate crowd activation and towards something more cinematic. The title itself suggests a larger frame. Compared with the other three performances, this one carries the strongest sense of scale in a different register. Not scale through movement or recognition, but scale through emotional and sonic construction. That gives it a different position in the edit. If Havana is the easiest entry point, Addison Rae provides the style shift, and Major Lazer provides the release. Labrinth becomes the closing expansion. The performance slows the viewer down and asks for a different kind of attention. It is less dependent on quick recognition and more dependent on atmosphere. That makes it especially useful as the final segment because it broadens the emotional range of the sequence rather than extending the previous energy. The title Orchestra suggests arrangement, layering, and dramatic structure, and that gives the performance a distinct role within the four-part comparison. That is why it works best at the end. It does not compete with the directness of Havana or the physicality of Lean On. It offers a different kind of closure through atmosphere. And taken together, these four performances show four different ways artists can succeed on a festival stage. Young Thug and Camila Cabello succeed through familiarity and immediate crowd connection with Havana. Addison Rae succeeds through image, control, and atmosphere with Aquamarine, Arcamarine. Major Lazer succeeds through rhythm, release, and public memory with Lean On. Labrinth succeeds through scale, arrangement, and a more cinematic emotional register with Orchestra. That is what gives the sequence its shape. If the question is which performance gives the video its strongest opening, Havana has the clearest claim. If the question is which one changes the visual texture most distinctly, Addison Rae's set makes that case. If the question is which performance delivers the strongest communal release, Major Lazer stands out. If the question is which one leaves the sequence with the broadest emotional frame, that role belongs to Labrinth. That is the advantage of using these four clips together. They do not simply repeat one another, they create progression. Comment below on which performance stood out most to you. Don't forget to subscribe for more.